My name's Chris Bogner. I joined the Marine Corps in 2009, and I got out in 2013. I was assigned to 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, and I deployed to Sangin in Afghanistan as a team leader. On July 11th, 2012, I was on a foot patrol in the Sangin district. I remember it was like 110 that day, and I had an IED explode 2 feet to my right side. Both my lungs collapsed. It was like getting the wind knocked out of you times 10. Yeah, I spent like 3 weeks in Germany at 2 different hospitals, Landstuhl, and then Regensburg, the university hospital there. And then they brought me back to the States at Walter Reed, where I spent a couple weeks, actually closer to a month, and then they sent me to Naval Medical Center, San Diego, and that's where I retired from. Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, my dad would take us out, me and my brother, out hunting. So we've grown up doing it our whole lives, and it's a tradition to go every year together, us three. That was the one thing that I missed the most when I was in the military, is hunting, because you hardly got a chance to go home and go hunt on leave. But so it was a big deal to recover as fast as I could to get back out in the outdoors and start hunting again. Yeah, the first time I went back out hunting after I got out of the military, I went back to my hometown. I hunted whitetail in the river bottoms, and then went out in the Badlands and hunted some mule deer. I think the first year back I got a whitetail. So it's about a 4-hour drive from where I live to my hometown. So I'm gonna go home here tomorrow, and I have a deer tag, so hopefully I can fill that, and I'm gonna meet up with a couple of my friends that I grew up hunting with, so I'm always excited about that. My little city's a really cool small community. They are very supportive of the military. They have these little yellow ribbons every light pole of active duty military people. Yeah, we're gonna pick up Kyle, and we're gonna go to an area where we're back in there a ways, where I don't think really anybody really goes. Kind of in some Badlands type stuff. The Badlands is kind of like this gumbo type stuff. A lot of draws, deep draws that pop out into little dirt mounds, and there's a lot of sagebrush around. It's just kind of some really interesting country. If you look across like 600 yards, it's not just going to be a straight walk like it looks like. You're going to be going up and down, sliding down stuff, trying to get down to the bottom of a draw. On the way to pick up Kyle. Running about 5 minutes past when I wanted to get him. Yeah, Kyle I met like about 4 years ago, maybe 5. Through a mutual friend that hunts out here, and we just became really good friends and started doing a lot of hunting together. So I asked him if he wanted to come along, and he was all for it. Yeah, so the area we were in, I had hunted before, and I kind of knew how to hunt it. We're looking for mule deer, but they're hard to spot, and sometimes you just walk up on them and don't even know they're there. So even when you're on your way out hunting, you still got to be glassing and looking, or something will just show up 100 yards from you. Best way is to stick to this side and then kind of go to the corner. Okay. Just because this creek gets so thick.
This segment of Trophy Hunters TV is brought to you by Swagger Bipods, the bipod with moves.
We were in a great area for mule deer. I had known this from the past year hunting, but with that wind, it's hard to say if you're gonna see anything moving, so we were kind of looking in the bottoms for some deer bedded down in the bottom.
Like right down below is here. Yeah. Once you get up there, then you really see deer. So I want to take it slow, but I'm not gonna crash myself. Just come up there with you when I get up on there. You want to try and get to that juniper? Yeah. Up there. Yeah, that's a really good spot. I remember from last year. Are we close enough to that ag where they're hitting it every night, or do you think they're just cruising these badlands? Hard to say, yeah.
So I was using a pair of Vortex binoculars in Afghanistan when I was hit by an IED, and it roughed them up a little bit, but I set them into Vortex and they fixed them for me. It was really important when I sent those binoculars in, you know, they fixed the pair that I sent them and not just send me a new pair, because they had a lot of personal value to me, and yeah, I still use them to this day. I use them on this hunt.
We're gonna get about three quarters of a mile back in here, and I'm gonna kill a stud and have these guys help me pack him out. What time is it?
Game time?
It's 8:36. At 10:14, I'm gonna kill this thing.
10:14?
Yeah.
What did you say?
10:14. I'm gonna kill it.
Okay, it's calling.
We don't get skunked. No. That's the buck we're chasing in here. Can you throw that in? Yeah, that's gonna weigh it down though. I know.
We went all the way into the farthest point that we wanted to go. We hadn't even seen it. I don't even know if we've seen a deer. We figured it was just because of that wind, keeping them in the bottoms to where we couldn't see them. And then about a mile out, maybe a mile and a half out, when we were headed out, all of a sudden we had a couple bucks that kind of appeared out of nowhere.
The last spot he was standing before he dipped over that hill was 570.
Me and Kyle ran up probably 200 or 300 yards to try and get up on this knoll where we could see him running. You know, we got set up, and I just got on this mule deer, and I had to make a split-second decision. I had like 2 seconds. I wanted to get a better look at him. I knew he had a really good frame.
There he is. Hey, there's that. So if you see that long tree, go to the left about 200 yards on that little knob, that darker knob, right above it, in the sagebrush. I don't see him. Come on. How far out? Go again. I see him. I had one shot right there.
But I didn't pull the trigger, and then he dipped down right there.
This segment is provided by Big and J. The aroma is super strong, the range is super long.
Yeah, when you're in Montana, the weather can change in a heartbeat. It doesn't even have to be the next day. It could be within 10 minutes. It could be warm out, and then all of a sudden it's windy and snowing. But yeah, you can get dumped on real quick. As we saw last night, we ended up getting about 1.5 feet of snow. That evening, we went out to a different spot, not very far from it. A little bit different country and not too far away. We went back in looking for mule deer again. A little less windy this time, so we saw some more deer moving around. About 100 yards in, we bumped up 3 mule deer bucks, pretty small. There was a couple little fingers in some trees that we were glassing, and came up with some more deer. And then finally we got to a point back in there where we had spotted these deer, but we couldn't see them all. A couple went out of sight, and we wanted to see if there was any bucks with them.
I think if we get up a little bit higher, we're going to be able to see a lot more on the other side of this. It opens up quite a bit. Be a good spot to glass as the sun goes down.
So we got up on a vantage point and got a better look.
The one on the right's a doe. They went up. They're kind of like in between those little draws that those little fingers make. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Right now we can only see 2 does. Couldn't see what the other ones were. They're behind a finger right now. We're gonna move up to that next ridge, stay out of sight. Gonna drop down so we can look down on them. Right up on the skyline where there's those lollipop trees. There's one lone one right in the middle that's kind of tall and skinny. Comes straight down off of that. And then to your right just a little bit, there's a crown bull, and then just come down off the top.
All those deer ended up being does that we thought might be a mature buck, very big bodied does. But we were decided to walk out with a little bit of light because we wanted to maybe get in the truck and head down and see if we could see anything right before dark. And we were walking out, and Kyle says says mountain lion, mountain lion.
Where? Right there. Are you being serious? Yes, I'm dead serious, dude. He went right up this cut, right into that thick stuff. He went around it. He's going that way, yeah.
I think he's joking at first because that first morning I made a joke about seeing a mountain lion. And I don't think I've ever done that to anybody before, but I got him pretty good. And then I was like, "Oh, you're gonna pay me back for that one, aren't you?" And he said, "Yeah."
That was a good sized mountain lion. I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you, dude. We're coming down the back here. We're gonna get back to the truck with a little bit of light and popped out a mountain lion. About 200 yards. I didn't have time for a shot. Kyle saw him right away. I didn't. I was getting my bipods out. And he wasn't sprinting, he was just moseying on. Just loping around, loping up that hill.
Next couple times out, we were just kept seeing more does. And then we were just kind of waiting for the weather to maybe change. We've been waiting for a snow and some colder weather to get the deer moving, and now that the hunt's over, here it is. So I have a general tag so I can shoot either a whitetail or a mule deer, but when we got back that evening, I actually got a call from my friend Sean saying that he had a day off, and he had a good spot to go for whitetail, so we decided to go in there and sit in a blind the next morning. I had this blind set up, and it's right on a bend of the river, and there's just tons of trails going all around it, really not in one direction. Figured that the rut activity would have picked up with the whitetail because they usually like to rut a little bit before the mule deer out here. We saw a lot of activity walking into the blind that morning. We figured if we bumped any deer out as we were walking in, the way that the blind was set up, these deer would eventually make a loop around to where we'd still see what we were bumping out. So we were on the last day, and we kind of had decided that the first mature buck that stepped out I was gonna take because I didn't have a whole lot of time, and we were in a really good area to where something really good could have walked out, but I just wanted to take that first mature buck. About 8:30 that morning, this whitetail came out of nowhere about 20 yards in front of us. He stopped 15 yards, and I had to make a decision right then whether I was going to shoot him or not. And I knew he was a mature deer. He wasn't anything huge, but he was a 5x5.
Are you on him? Yep, take him.
Yeah, we're on him. He's going down. He's
Yep,
going down.
yep.
He does tail it. He might not be hit.
But I had my power zoomed all the way in on my scope, so when I didn't have time to adjust it. So yeah, shot was just a little low, mainly because of that reason, that I couldn't zoom all the way out on my scope.
You just lay down.
Cheers. I just shot a real big slob dog.
You got him, man.
That's awesome, dude.
15 yards.
Been busy hunting all year, and everyone's been kind of doing their own thing in the last couple of weeks, so it's been really good to get all three of us back together and have an experience like this. That's really all that matters, is just being out there together, and then to have a deer walk out like that and make the experience even that much better is just the icing on the cake.